R2D2. Beep beep.
Beep bop boop boop.
I have the high ground.
Yeah. Far. Oh wait, that's wrong.
What did Yoda do?
You are. I believe that your heart will go on. Miss Piggy.
Oh, Grover.
Can you imagine if Jim Henson, was it Jim Henson who did, no, Oz, he did Yoda.
Frank Oz.
If he pulled in like just Miss Piggy.
Hey,
Miss Piggy, you are.
there are some points in Emperor Strikes Back where Miss Piggy comes in just a little bit, and you're like Piggy.
It's when he's getting the food.
Yeah. And you're like, oh.
That is funny because he's searching through Luke's backpack to get the food, and all I can think of is Miss Piggy eating the turkey or eating the chestnuts before doing the same thing.
Mother. I was just tasting them.
Hello, children.
I get on a kick where I'll go through and I'll watch the bloopers for
Oh
the
my
Muppets
gosh.
and Sesame Street. And I'm sorry, they just need to do like an adult side thing where it just has the bloopers of all those.
I'm sorry. My favorite of all time is Bear in the Big Blue House bloopers.
They're so
Did I say
naughty, though.
the
Oh my
mouse
gosh.
and the little bear.
Oh my heck! I have never laughed so hard in my life. Or when you bleep out Count Dracula.
Oh, his counting song.
Oh my gosh!
And with that,
Oh no.
welcome to the Twaddling About Podcast. I am your host, Dan McBride, here with my co-host and brothers, Joshua David McBride. Thanks, Josh. He just nodded his head to everyone.
I bowed.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, come on.
Ceremonial. And Jacob McBride. I was going to do your middle name, but then I realized it's probably going to allow people to steal our identities. So.
Like they haven't already.
Do it. Steal it.
Here's the thing: they would steal our identity and access our bank account and be like, "Oh,
they
Sad.
deposit money for us.
I thought
There
these
you-
guys were wealthy. No.
You are incorrect.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you a penny. If I had one.
do you know who we didn't do from Star Wars?
Who?
Jar Jar Binks.
I will not be doing Jar Jar Binks because it will sound like a racial stereotype if I even attempt it.
Oh wait, no,
That is actually Jar Jar Binks. There you go.
That's his big leader guy.
yeah.
Oh, we didn't do Jabba the Hutt. Wow, whoa.
I'm kind of sitting like Jabba the Hutt right now.
You are.
You kind of are.
Why am I Leia?
We just need a Princess Leia and then you're set.
Muta solo.
No, I'm gonna be that little rat. That sounded more like the witch from Banjo-Kazooie.
I was going to say we are just getting farther and farther away from.
Oh, now you're going to have me
material.
doing Banjo-Kazooie's noises.
So
This is doing good. I like this so far. We're going to make progress.
what are we talking about this week?
Oh,
Because I don't think it's our poor interpretations of the Star Wars.
Even though that would be a fun
That would be
podcast.
one podcast.
The
just dedicated.
psychology of Star Wars and what it's done to us.
Ooh, the Tao of Star Wars.
Ooh, I want to read the Tao of Pooh.
You really should.
The Winnie the Pooh one.
I've got it.
Do you have it?
I do.
I want it.
Remind me and I'll bring it over.
Remind me to tell you something after this. Because if I say it on air, I will probably be kicked out of many organizations.
How come? Why do you got to bring? Don't even bring it up.
I say don't even specify. Just be like, I'll bring it up later.
Because
now,
I'll forget about it.
well,
Oh,
the
I
thing
see.
about it is now Danny's gonna have to go in and Danny's gonna have to say, I have to remove this section because this is incriminating evidence that Josh is,
Psychotic.
No, it was legit.
I'm gonna do a best of that. I'm gonna release on our. I don't know.
What's
Whenever-
the one that they pay into? Not PayPal.
Oh, Patreon.
Yeah.
Patreon.
When we do a Patreon, there will be just one section that is pay us $5 a month to hear Josh.
Just to hear
Just
all
racist.
of
All-
the unedited Josh's stuff.
And just to clarify, we joke that it's racist. It's not all that racist.
I am
people. It's
actually not that
racist at
bad.
all.
I'm just not as politically correct
You are not politically correct. We're correct.
because I live in a Utah bubble. And I don't get out often.
What are you saying about us Utahns?
We're all poops.
So, Jake, what are we talking about today?
Today, we are going to be doing a mash.
Of?
Monster Mash.
A monster mash. We're going to be doing a mash of all three of our topics. Not the topics you guys have talked about, but the topic kind of things. We have history.
Our categories.
We have superstition.
Paranormal.
And we have the human condition or the psychology of what this is.
Yes.
So with that, we are going to be talking about the psychology of superstition. And
I love superstitions.
now these superstitions, we're not going to go into like some of the other that we might kind of hit on some of them, but I'm going to talk more specifically about some of the ones that we kind of just do without thinking.
For example, knock on glass to save your...
What? I don't even understand what he
That
just
came
said.
out of nowhere, but
You never heard that one
it
before?
was
Knock on glass to save...
Knock on-
Oh, knock on glass to save your... Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's a rhyme.
that was
people.
a good drag out.
It's just like, it's if you don't have wood, you find glass.
Hey, knocking on wood, I think, is one of the very first ones on
That
Jake's
is the
list.
first one we get to talk about.
And
Well,
I'd just like to point out that the website that you sent to us, Jake, Tiggy Touchwood.
What are you talking about? It's artsandculture.google.com.
I know, but Tiggy Touchwood is such a funny name for a British children's game.
T. Touchwood.
Tiggy Touchwood.
I guess it would probably sound funny to our ears now, but
Who's Tiggy? And why is he touching wood?
well, before we get too much into that, first of all, we're going to kind of talk about the.
Please, Jake, continue
We're
on.
gonna back up, and that way I can continue. We're gonna talk about the psychology portion of it first, Joshua.
Sorry.
I'm leaving that in.
Next
Josh,
time it's
just to
my
let
turn,
you
I'm
know.
gonna do the psychology of Josh's brain.
Seriously.
It's gonna take at least 6 episodes.
Dude, I was talking about wood like elm, oak,
Oh, okay.
birch.
So let's talk about knocking on wood. Jake,
Yes.
what is that?
Knocking on wood. That's about the extent of it.
Do you guys actually do this one?
I do.
I knock
do
on
it
wood
too.
all the time.
And I don't know why.
I think a lot of people do, and that's what we're gonna kind of talk about. Why? Why do we do it? Because I mean, you guys have heard I'm probably one of the least superstitious people in my family.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is I do a lot of these things we're going to talk about, and it's one of those that, why do we do it? What kind of drives us to want to do it? And so I was looking up some different studies and stuff, and there's nothing really strong about it. Josh is laughing.
I'm sorry. I just read another really funny thing.
Wait, you got to hold off, Josh.
Hold on,
we're
Josh.
gonna get there. We're not on that website yet, Josh.
Oh, yeah. Apologize.
Gosh,
So, knocking on wood.
knocking on wood.
You even saying it, I can't keep a straight face. Just
So, why do we do it? One thing that I thought was really interesting, and I kind of was reading some different people that were talking about it and watching some videos of some individuals talking about it, is they talked about it's this idea that we are trying to cope with an anxious situation.
oh,
So when you're knocking on wood, what's most of the time you're knocking on wood? I'm really hoping that whatever I just told you is either A, going to come true or it's not, type of that ordeal.
Right.
So, I mean, I do it all the time. I work with computers. Computers are wonderful devices that can help us do extraordinary things. They break all the time because of updates, because of installations, because of all sorts of stuff. So every time I'm about to do some type of installation or update, I'll be like, okay, I'm doing this. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
And
Who
like,
is it?
and afterwards, it's like, oh, do I actually think that's going to help me? No.
I do it a lot in conversation. So if I'm talking to someone and we're talking about something that we hope is going to happen, I almost like I express it out loud to the other person. I'll say something along the lines of like, knock on wood, and then
So, you send it out into the universe. So
and then
the universe
panic
can-
when there's nothing wood around me.
And like I said, that's why you knock on glass.
So where do you think that there is a connection between superstitions, specifically physical superstitions, and like obsessive compulsive?
So it's actually kind of interesting because a lot of people will say, oh, when someone does that, they are obsessive compulsive. When actually, if you look at it, it's not that way. Because a lot of time, I mean, if I don't knock on wood, I'm not going to have a conniption fit, have a mental breakdown or anything like that.
Sure.
But there are people out there that they do have certain tendencies that they have to follow. And if they don't, they can really, that will make their whole day worse.
Sure.
Yeah, for example, I just thought of the show Monk. He had to touch every the fence post. Every fence post that he went by, he had to touch. Or he went,
Extreme compulsion.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of the from what I was reading, that's the main difference is like what is the outcome of you maybe not performing that act type of thing. But I don't know if we're going to get too much into this, but like I was reading all sorts of like weird things that people do that are kind of superstitions, like baseball. Like people had certain underwear they had to wear every game. Someone had to brush their teeth after every inning, every game.
Have you guys ever seen The Modern Family where they talk about like one of the characters, Cam, becomes a football coach, and so he has to go through the exact same routine.
Oh yeah.
And it's played for laughs, but the reality is that there are people that legitimately have like a pretty strong belief that their actions somehow influence the universe.
Yeah.
And even them saying it out loud, they probably think it's silly, and yet they can't break themselves from the cycle.
It just becomes a norm, especially when they do it for so long.
Yeah, one of the ones that I know, a lot of sports people, even on sports that I played, people would not wash themselves during the season with soap.
A lot of hunters don't either.
Yeah, so you don't wash with soap because that will mess up, that will,
that scent's going to do something to the ball.
Yeah, do something with the ball or just like limit your ability to breathe correctly or whatever. And so a lot of sports players sometimes don't even shower per se with soap because of that.
So do you guys have time-specific routines? And what I mean by that is, are there certain times of the year where your routine changes, and if you don't follow that routine, it bothers you?
That's a good question.
I do have tendencies.
I feel like my mic's too close to my mouth. I'm sorry. Probably breathing.
No, it sounds okay.
Okay.
You have like what, Josh?
So like if things aren't done a certain way, or I'll say this. So like, let's say we have a plan and then that plan changes at the last second and it's a plan that I've like invested myself in. Mm-hmm. I have to talk myself down.
Really?
Yep.
See,
well, that literally is the definition of frustration, is that you have an expectation that follows through.
And it's not necessarily I'm angry. It's my anxiety goes through the roof.
See, and I think about like my routine in the morning. This is going to sound probably crazy to some people, but probably absolutely normal for other people. When I get dressed and when I put things in my pocket, things go in a very specific way in my pocket, and they're put in my pocket in a very specific way. I have my wallet and a lighter in my front right pocket. I have my keys in my left pocket. I have a hanky and a small pocketbook in my back left pocket, and then I've got.
You have your keys in your left pocket?
I do have my keys. I
do that too.
Do you do that too?
Yep.
And here's the crazy thing.
But that's really interesting.
Here's the crazy thing about it is, I can quickly pocket check at any time during the day and know exactly what's in my pocket. And if that routine changes in any way, it can throw me for like a loop, like almost like a sudden panic until I find what I've got missing.
See, and that's almost that almost is on the grounds of obsessive there, Dan.
And see, probably I will say this: that's how I am. I have my keys and wallet in left pocket, and then my phone in my right. That's what I carry.
I just think it's so interesting that you guys don't have your keys in your right pocket.
Why is that?
Because you use your right hand to put the keys in the ignition.
Yeah, and that might be the
But
case.
my phone is in my right pocket, and it'll scratch my phone.
And my wallet is in my right pocket. Like everybody used to wear it in the back pocket, and then there was like a time where people said it's really bad for your health and your back and everything.
My butt hurt.
I said that was my problem.
because it's my dominant hand, there's an assurance that I feel if I go down to my pocket and fill my wallet there.
Interesting.
So,
Yep.
and I don't think that falls into necessarily superstition like
I
we're talking about.
I don't mind.
But it's definitely a routine that I follow.
Yeah.
See, and I work downtown, and we know that there's people downtown who, can slip their hand in your back pocket or whatever. And I was always told in big cities and whatever, you wear it in your front, and then you put your hands in your pocket if you think you're going to get mugged or whatever. And so that's always just been a thing. I mean, right now, My keys and my wallet are in my front pocket because I think you guys are going to mug me.
Yeah, probably will. Here's the other thing. When I put cologne on in the morning, I have to do 5 spreads. Not 4, not 6, 5.
You do 5.
4 is not enough because of the way that I do it. I don't actually spray it on me. I just kind of spray it in the air and walk.
And then
through
you
it.
walk.
Oh, you're
You're one of those.
Well, yes. And so but if I don't do the 5, if I do 6, the rest of the day I feel like, okay, do I have too strong of a smell? So maybe I really am super obsessive and I didn't know.
I say I only do 2.
OCD.
See, and I have to do it in certain spots. I may do it more, but I have certain spots that I have to spray it on. I have to spray it on my left pec, my right pec, and then my belly button.
See, I guess I'm just bad. I just spray it on my my neck. I just do my right side, my left side, my neck.
Oh, so you do the little dip and
Well, not even the. I have the spray, so I just spray it. So, but yeah, that is really interesting. So, because I'm trying to think, I mean, I have a routine in the morning. I mean, I shower in the morning. That's just how I wake up. I have to shower in the morning. So, it probably drives my wife crazy because oftentimes on the weekends I wake up early, but then I spend much longer in the bathroom because that's
your time.
That's my sanctuary.
Yeah, sure.
And it's like I've been working all week. I am now in the bathroom for an hour and a half. But
anybody have a nighttime right before you go to sleep routine?
no,
Literally in bed.
My wife has a very specific routine. She has to do several things, and she's made me join this routine where I have to brush my teeth right before I go to bed. Where growing up, I mean, I brushed my teeth, but it was never I have to do this. Now I can't sleep unless if I brush my teeth.
I'm talking about even more specific, in bed. When I get in bed I am ready to sleep, I stretch my muscles a very specific way. Now, there's been times, obviously, I'm not obsessive enough that if I don't do that, I can't fall asleep. But I have a very specific kind of way where I'll tense up my muscles in my legs and my arms.
Release.
I'll release them. I'll shake my legs, both of my legs, and do a really extreme stretch. And then, for some odd reason, I do that every night. And I guess I've never been cognizant of it until we're talking about it. But
wow.
See, and I guess why? I do too. So I don't do any stretches, but it's how I cuddle my wife. So I have to cuddle first. So I'm the big spoon. And then
good enough.
Once my body relaxes, I flip over and then the little spoon, and that's when I fall asleep. I can never fall asleep cuddling my wife. I have to flip over and then I can fall asleep. But if I don't do the first one, I can't fall asleep. Just falling asleep.
Well, and I think this connects in superstitions because there are when I was reading about superstitions a little bit in kind of preparation.
What was that?
For superstitions.
When I was reading about
Speaking of superstition,
when I was reading about superstitions,
that was good.
In preparation for this podcast, the way that we treat superstitions now is not the same way that the people of yesteryear treated them. There was extreme belief in these superstitions.
Oh yeah,
like breaking of the mirror. We owe 7 years bad luck. No, they quite literally had a system in place for which to expel that bad luck away from you. And so I can't help but think, in my mind, obviously, I don't think anything is going to go wrong if I don't do my stretches at night, but I think that there's probably some more similarity between the routines that we build on a day-to-day basis and these superstitions that they had back in the olden days.
And there was a lot of them.
Yeah, one of my favorites is sneezing.
And bless you.
And bless you.
Gesundheit.
Yep. The fact that sneezing allowed evil spirits or could allow evil spirits to enter your body. And that's why they blessed you.
Well, I even read that it became a very prominent thing during the Black Plague.
Black Plague, yep.
Because the previous pope had died.
Mm-hmm.
And the new pope was saying that to be okay, expel whatever that is, please.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of these.
The other one, goodbye, and this might just be a historical term. Goodbye is actually God be with you.
Yeah.
but condensed. And that's because once you left the city walls, the chance of you living was
Not
not high.
great.
Well, let's jump into it. Since we kind of talked a little bit about psychology, I mean, there's a lot to hit on, and I'm sure we can continue this in a future one, which normally happens every time I talk about something. But the first one, since we talked about it earlier, knocking on wood.
Knock on wood.
So, as we talked about, this is pretty common. I think a lot of people just tend to say it. I mean, I had people that actually bought wood boards
And would bring it with them?
and would bring them with it to
Really?
work and stuff so they could use it.
Yeah, I know people that have like a little piece of wood on their keychains
Mm-hmm.
so that you just knock your pocket or
Fascinating.
anything like that.
Yeah. And again, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't think they think it's the end of the world if they don't knock on wood, but it's just kind of one of those things that for us,
It's a totem.
yeah, we do it. But where did it come from? Why is it here? Where is it going? The actual origins and even meanings of the phrase are as varied as the cultures which use it, which a lot of cultures actually use. It's kind of interesting.
It is.
So a lot of the suggestions for the roots are in Indo-European or Celtic belief that the spirits, good and bad, resided in trees who could be either called upon for protection or chased away by knocking on their home. So we talked about a little bit like the idea that there's a spirit that lives in, I mean, almost
specific
anything.
place, yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, a lot of things, as you see, that a lot of them live in the trees, the plants, the other areas. So
Well, and in Celtic tradition, tree worship was big. I mean, you had the ancient origin trees or the ancestral trees, and so I could definitely see how a practice of going and knocking on the wood for good luck could be passed down from generation to generation.
Yeah, I love that as we continue reading that that practice ended up bleeding into almost a Christian belief as well, where the knocking on wood is what gave the power to wooden crucifixes.
Oh, you would take it from wooden crucifixes, you mean? Like
Linking the
so-
practice to magical power of the wooden crucifix. And so by knocking on wood, in ancient times, it was chasing out the spirit, good or bad. But then it kind of morphed into, you had to have that wooden crucifix to be able to do.
And we've talked a lot about how early Christianity borrowed all sorts of fun things from like the surrounding cultures.
pagans. It is interesting. I do think it's funny. The British say touch wood. So, which can have various meanings in other places.
Yeah, it means touching wood, like touch a tree. Jeez.
Italians touch steel rather than wood.
Oh, wow.
Poles and Russians touch unpainted wood. Turks knock twice. Latin Americans knock on wood with no legs, like chairs. For a second, I was like,
They knock with
Charles,
no legs.
you lost both your legs. Knock!
Turks not. Oh.
It brings up another superstition that I've learned recently. Did you know that if you don't clamp your tongs twice before barbecuing, the likelihood that your food will not taste as good goes up?
I think you've lost your gosh dang mind.
So that's why we
I do that though. But I don't do it because I don't think my wood's good. I do it to test to make sure my tongs are working.
I do it
Why
to
would-
make sure that my arms are actually going to, function properly and my hand will close.
Anyway,
Fun. So there you go. Knocking on wood. Now everyone knows. We're going to go to the next one. Throwing salt over your shoulder.
now before we continue, do you guys remember when we used to do this at family Saturday lunches or whatever?
I remember a particular experience, Joshua, where we were at a fine establishment, Apollo Burger. And
That's
we
the one I
were
was thinking of.
we were sitting there, and Josh accidentally spilled it over. Actually, I spilled it, and then Josh took it and threw it over his shoulder, not realizing there was a man behind us.
No, and what you don't remember is it wasn't salt. It was pepper.
Was it? I thought
And
it was
I
salt.
mixed up the tradition, so I was throwing pepper on the guy. And it was a lot of pepper.
So it was a lot of pepper. So we understand this very well. Now, this isn't one I normally do, but I thought it was kind of interesting to kind of look at. Like knocking on wood, this superstition also involves the idea of warding off evil. In the case, the devil himself.
Wow.
Oh, this is interesting. In the Last Supper, Jesus betrayer, Judas Iscariot, is portrayed as having accidentally spilled salt. I didn't know that.
What?
That's interesting. Since Judas was associated with doing something bad, the argument goes that ipso facto, so was salt. I can't believe that's actually like where it came from. I like the other explanations. That old Scratch, the devil, was thought to reside over your left shoulder. And that's something that you see pop up in culture all the time. Devil
He's on the left shoulder.
Devil on the shoulder, angel on the right. And so you would throw the salt to your left to attack the devil. I don't know. To season him. Give him a good.
He's already burning. I'm going to make sure he smells good. That's interesting.
And then still others say that the sheer value of salt alone in ancient times led to the belief that to spill it was to incur bad fortune. That one seems more plausible to me. Like it's some kind of just ancient penance.
Yeah, there
like,
seems to be a lot of these that come from the Romans too.
Romans.
They're probably drunk.
Friends.
Hey, I don't see spilled salt in the Last Supper.
Well, did you look at Leonardo's Last Supper? Because it's Da Vinci's Last Supper that you actually have to look at.
Oh.
While you do that, we'll talk about walking under a ladder.
Walking under a ladder. I'll be honest, I follow this, but it's not because of the idea that I'm going to have bad luck. It's the idea that the ladder is just going to collapse or someone's going to fall off the ladder right on top of me.
Which I think is probably where the superstition comes from.
And that's probably a good reason.
Like the explanation that they are giving in this one, I am like, where is this coming from?
Well, what's interesting is that this one, they're really gunning for the Christian symbolism of the Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
That the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are led to association of the number 3 with something sacred.
And so the triangle with 3 sides came to be regarded as sacred as well. So why would walking in a triangle be bad?
It would be to destroy the sanctity of the Trinity. So it's like you're coming in between them?
I guess.
Oh,
Interesting.
Dudes, there is spilt salt.
Good.
Anyway.
I didn't think that this article was lying to us. Maybe it was. Google Scholar. The ladder's resemblance to a gallows also didn't help matters. How does a ladder represent the gallows?
I have no... maybe...
I feel like a guillotine, maybe.
Well, I guess if they had a ladder that would go up and then they would hang the person.
Maybe. Interesting. Yeah, this is something that I follow too. I don't walk in between ladders, but it has absolutely, like you said, nothing to do with me thinking
The sanctity
that I'm
or anything like that.
destroying the sanctity of the Holy Trinity. It's, oh crap, this person on top of the ladder, it's going to fall on me and I'm probably going to get hit.
See, and I'm totally one that just like, and most of the time it's probably because I don't realize that there's a ladder above me.
I like this. The Egyptians apparently thought that one might accidentally spot a god going up and down on a ladder, so it avoided it. Must have made building all those tall pyramids, which we discussed last time, really difficult. Oh, 2 times ago. I'm sorry.
Could you imagine? Hey, will you put up the ladder there? And so they blindfold themselves first. No, to the left. To the left.
This pyramid was not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be a cube, idiot. Next one, broken mirror. How many of you have broken a mirror?
Oh man, I've broken so many.
Many.
I just look at it and it breaks.
Oh. In the picture, I drew myself breaking the mirror looking at it. So Danny was walking into the ladder and Josh came across an unfortunate black animal.
Oh.
I'm not going to talk about it.
You're not going to talk about black cats?
No.
Or is it a black dog? Because that was actually a really bad omen too at one time.
Oh, was it? No, it was a black cat.
No.
So, mirrors.
Mirror.
7 years of bad luck.
7 years. Let's see here. So,
Since it was believed that only poor health would cause a mirror to crack. You mean klutz?
Well, I guess if your mind isn't all there,
Wow.
then I didn't realize the Romans saw 7 as the number of years required to complete a full life cycle of sickness and renewal.
that's interesting.
So man, can you imagine a cold for 7 years?
You know what's funny
I'm
is
pretty sure Jake's still sick from
is
when
that-
we talked about it.
I'm pretty sure I am.
7 is a very common number that you see pop up in many different cultures.
Yeah, in Hebrew, it's
7 days.
yeah, but it means like forever.
Yeah.
70 times 7 in the biblical means that you forgive forever. You know?
Yeah, there's a lot of symbolism in 7s that pop up. The other thing is mirrors, and breaking mirrors is actually a really common thing in the paranormal world.
It's interesting. It says, as a result, broken mirror meant you were headed towards a death spiral that might take 7 years to pull yourself out of.
Now I'm going to throw a history kind of thing in here.
Do it.
Mirrors, as we know it today, were not the mirrors of yesteryear. Meaning that
like they weren't made the same way. I see what you're
so
saying.
Romans probably were using a copper reflectant or a bronze reflective, and to break those, man, that
Expensive.
would take quite a bit to break those, and so it makes sense if it did require a lot more if it was bad luck because
Well, and I think that there's also something to be said that they were probably prohibitively expensive.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so it probably like breaking a mirror could have been like really, really detrimental to your actual like
My life
monies.
savings.
Because
Yeah.
you think it had to be pure metal that had to be reflective, and that was extremely difficult to do
Oh,
back in the
here's something that I just found. Romans, the way that they would make a mirror is they would do something called Roman silvering, which involved the use of tin, mercury, and other metals as a reflective layer. Thus, when a mirror was broken,
mercury.
the mercury would leak and would
It
actually
would drive the person
lead-
crazy.
It would lead them to sickness.
Isn't it
makes so much more
interesting that
sense.
mercury was used in several ancient methods of different things?
I mean, not even
And-
ancient, all the way up until like Lewis and Clark. The reason that we know where Lewis and Clark were is because they ate so much mercury-inducing like medication that their poops were mercury-filled, and so we could literally like trace them with the mercury that was found in their
Beep,
poops.
beep. I mean, the ancient dynasty, the first emperor of China, he thought that was the elixir of eternal life.
Yeah, there's
Mercury.
some archaeological sites that they won't try to even get into because they think they're so full of mercury because they used it to make like mercury seas and everything like that.
Yeah, he was actually buried in mercury, so liquid mercury. So if they open it, the toxins would be released.
That's crazy.
That explains all the curses. We could talk. Ooh, we need to talk about the curses.
We'll have to
of
do
that.
curses sometime.
That'd
Curses
be
would
pretty crazy.
fun.
That's a fun game.
What's next, Jake?
Ooh, let's see here. So there's quite a list. I want to see if we can hit on some of the ones that are a little bit further down so we don't lose sight of them. Friday the 13th.
Ooh.
So like the number 7 for the Romans, as we just talked about, magical significance has been attached to the number 13. But this time it's an unlucky rather than lucky, which I mean, from the way we talked about it last time, I don't know if it was that lucky for 7 either.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So, but the number 12 has frequently been seen as positive. 12 months of the year, 12 signs of the zodiac, 12 days of Christmas, 12 tribes of Israel, naturally making its nearest neighboring number to the north negative. So, I actually laughed. My wife and I went to Hawaii, and we went to the resort we stayed in had 14 floors.
But it was actually 13.
It was actually 13 floors. So
Mhm.
my wife and I were on the 14th floor. And when you go in the elevator, it'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14. And this is actually really common, like amongst I think the thing is like 80% of skyscrapers
Yep.
do not have the 13th floor marked that way because it's considered a bad omen or
So,
bad luck.
fun fact. Mine does have the 13th floor.
Does it? Well, I don't think that where you work is a super superstitious place.
That's
A
true.
super superstitious place.
Super.
You're
I live
super-
superstitious.
So I lived in 2 apartments in Canada on the 14th floor because there was no 13th. And my gullible mind was like, oh, they just left that like empty space. and then you just skip it. But then,
I mean, that would be pretty cool. Just have all this space. You know, no one wants to go there. You just hop down there if you're not the superstitious.
seriously,
I will tell you that this next part is something that I've actually heard a lot when it comes to the number 13. Like other superstitions surrounding the Last Supper, the 13th is also seen as unlucky because, once again, Judas Iscariot was the 13th member of the dinner party and left first. And so I've actually heard that as being kind of a pretty common
It's kind of interesting that they just call him the 13th member. Is there like something somewhere that says he came in 13th, or is it just that?
I think there was 13 at the table, and him being the first one to leave. I
Was
think
it
that's-
what made
they
him
would
do that?
consider
but
the
I also
13th.
think he was the last one to say, "Is it I?"
Oh, that's true.
Meaning that he was probably the last
At the end
on
of
the
the table.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true.
Interesting.
Lots of stuff.
What's Friday the 13th the movie about? I always get them confused.
Isn't that?
Is that Jason? Is that the one dream guy? Is that
I'm pretty sure it's Jason.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street is the dream guy. That is, yeah.
Yeah, with the claws.
Jason is Friday.
Freddy
the 13th.
Krueger.
Freddy Krueger? That's right.
Krueger's Christmas. Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger's Christmas.
Would have had a new meaning.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
The Tabernacle Choir and Freddy Krueger.
That would be an epic.
That would be a fantastic one. Yes, Jason is Friday the 13th.
It's weird that I've never seen any of them, so I always just have, whenever someone like specifies the movie, I'm always like, I have no idea what that's about. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Because then you have, no, that's Scream. The Scream was the one with the ghost face guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Halloween?
Halloween is
Wasn't that just remade?
it was well it was
It was like a follow up.
yeah.
Well, there's so many Halloween.
That was the
thing.
that
face.
was Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Is that the guy with the
Michael
mask?
Myers is Shrek, remember?
That's right.
It's all coming together. It's all coming together.
Get out of my swamp!
Michael Myers is the one with the white mask. Who was
Oh, okay.
originally? Who was it? Do you guys know where the white mask came from?
It is Captain Kirk.
It is a bleached Captain Kirk mask.
Oh, is it really?
It
Yep.
is.
And then they took his hair and they gelled it back, and that's what the
That's what
the mask is.
That's what Michael Myers is.
I want to see.
Oh
I
no!
want to see him do a unexplained episode. Just
Michael Myers looks familiar.
did I start a new sensation with Halloween?
Yes, I did. yes, I did.
Did you guys ever watch his? There was one on History Channel where he talked about the technology and stuff, and like the thing that made me laugh is, did I start technological advancements because Star Trek had such things as cellular devices? Yes, I did. It was just like, oh, Shatner, we love you.
Do you know what? I think he's going to live forever, and we're going to realize that he
Billy-
actually is from the future.
William Shatner.
I'm just impressed that he's the age he is, because like for a while
He's
he
in
seemed
his 90s.
he seemed super unhealthy for like a little bit, and then out of the blue he's just like the super healthy 90-year-old.
I know. Do you guys remember that show where the old guys all went on trips together?
Oh,
No.
with like George Foreman and
Yeah.
everything on it. Yeah.
George Foreman was the most fit person,
Uh-huh.
and he's the first one to die out of all of them.
Yeah.
Terry
but-
Bradshaw and Ben Winkler. Yeah,
Henry Winkler.
that
I have
that
never
Terry
seen this.
you've
It's
never.
really funny.
Oh my gosh,
It is
it's
pretty
really
funny.
funny. Anyway.
I think it came out when you were on your mission.
That probably explains it. And if you want to find out what I was doing over there, please go back to our first superstition. Or was it the second superstition?
First superstition, I think, is when we talked about the Philippines.
Is that what it was? Okay. I've lost track.
Hey, I want to go back up to step on a crack and break your mother's back.
Oh, let's look.
that one is kind of interesting.
Do you know where I learned that one from? Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah, because it
step on a
actually
crack or you'll break your mother's back.
he did break his mother's back.
He did. But it was because of the anti-fairies.
Mm-hmm.
As with mirrors, cracks in the earth on a sidewalk or almost anywhere else have long been seen as portals to a realm of the supernatural for both good and ill. To step on those cracks might be to invite the release of unwelcome spirits into the world, ready to do one harm. I don't get that one. Why would a crack... Cracks are everywhere.
Yeah.
Now,
I would more tend to believe it was probably like a fun childhood game that just got changed into a superstition.
It was like jumping, hop, skip, whatever. I can't even think of the name.
hopscotch.
Hopscotch, that one.
Hop,
Thank
skip,
you.
and a jump.
Hop, skip, and a jump.
Now let's go back in history. Now, I look at this from the eyes of, every sidewalk has a crack. Oh, the asphalt has cracks. They didn't have those back in the day. And so cracks in the earth, yes, there were cracks in the earth, but they were probably not like a standard thing, like every so feet you had a crack.
Oh, maybe you're right. Yeah.
So it was like, there's a crack in the ground. It leads to hell.
and stepping
that's
on
what I
it,
talked about.
And my mother's back is broken.
I want to know where it just like the idea that it's going to break my mother's back came from.
It was the first time a woman wore heels.
Well, no, see,
Stepped in the crack. She broke her back because the heel got stuck.
the reason that I think it's more of a childhood game is because of the rhyme.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, because, I mean, in English and in Scottish and in Irish lore, like, a lot of childhood games were mnemonic in nature.
Yep.
Is that the right word? Where they would, I mean, it's done with a poem or it's done with, like, a rhythm or everything like that. And so
Here's opinion according to Josh. I think it was probably to get kids to pay attention to where they were walking. And so they're like, if you step on a crack, you'll break your mother's back. And so they had to pay attention where they're walking.
don't step on the crack.
Just like
break
if you
your
don't
mother's
finish your
back.
dinner, the boogeyman's going to kill you.
The Germans were really good at that. All of the German fairy tales were always like,
And what you don't realize
So, if
is
you
the
don't-
boogeyman actually eats you.
if you don't do your chores, a little man with scissors is going to come and cut off your thumbs. If you don't finish your dinner, another little man is going to come and poke your eyeballs out.
If you're not good, Santa
like,
has a
good-
little friend who's going to whip you into
Good
submission.
heavens.
If you're not in bed at a certain time, the boogeyman's going to come out and kill you.
I mean, what a,
But that makes sense. I mean, it helped German kids.
that's true. I guess it sure did. So what's the next one, Jake?
I'm sorry. I was trying to see if I could get more details about this because it just kind of, it's all the same where it's that idea that it's just evil spirits and it's a realm to another world.
Well, maybe it is.
So,
Well, I say that, and I know that in The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis puts hell in a crack.
ooh.
So maybe
You're a bug crack? Sorry, I don't know why I did that.
thanks, Josh.
That
So maybe
would
that
be
is
hell.
something. All right, let's see.
Tucking thumbs inside of a cemetery.
What tucking thumbs in? What are you talking about?
Just scroll down, bro.
Tucking thumbs into.
Like the fear of the word "for" in China. Oh well, this is Japanese, Jake.
I'm Josh.
No, I'm talking to Jake because Jake's wife went to Japan.
Oh.
Oh, is this something else that's
So maybe
going
we
to
need to-
totally lead to what my wife married me for?
Well, we need we probably. I think that you would probably know. The fear of the word "for" in China hinging on the similar in the pronunciation to the Chinese word for death. The Japanese similarly tuck in their thumb when in a cemetery visiting the graves of dead relatives. This comes from the connection between the Japanese word for thumb and its meaning as the parent finger. To tuck in one's thumb inside a cemetery then is to protect one's parents from death.
So does that mean you like make a fist? Is that what it is?
That really is. That's what the picture is showing.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. So
Because-
the picture is showing like as they're there, they're tucking their thumb.
Because my
Yeah.
wife, if you look in pictures, my wife just tucks her thumbs in her pockets.
Yeah, like inside like that.
So now it makes more sense. She doesn't want her parents to,
Pass away.
get killed. So,
I didn't know this one. Writing love letters to Juliet Capulet.
is there people that do
Romeo
that?
and Juliet?
Verona, Verona. Hence thou Juliet, bro.
What the heck are you talking about?
Hey, I'm going to go up. We're going to talk about the black cat, so I can actually justify having that on our drawing.
I
Oh, yeah,
like
black
what is this
cat.
black cat?
Is it because of witches?
So, in days of yore in ancient Egypt,
Sorry.
cats were worshipped as gods.
That's true.
Things took a turn for the worse, though. Love that. It took a work for our colored feline friends sometime around the Dark Ages, when in 1232 AD, a papal bull by Pope Gregory. What is a papal bull?
It's a declaration.
A papal bowl.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, a papal bowl.
That just sounds so. I hereby release a bull. It's a bunch of bull crap.
It's a pope and it's a bull.
Anyway, so he declared the cats as an incarnation of Satan, according to the People's Magazine. What does that have to do with People's Magazine?
Can I find out who this Pope Gregory the Ninth?
He released.
Well, I think that's funny, but I have to laugh. It's like on one page, what is Cher wearing? And then on the next page, it's Pope Gregory says cats are the devil.
Oh, that is just the most. Whoever wrote this, that was the greatest inclusion ever.
And it was Pope Gregory the Ninth?
Yes.
Pope Gregory the Ninth.
Pope Gregory the Ninth.
What did he have against cats?
He probably walked by one and went, and he's like, Satan. I mean, I do that all the time. So I will be honest. I don't like cats and cats don't like me. So.
Oh, okay. So here we go.
Okay, I'm here.
So AI has come to the rescue on this one. While there's a popular story claiming Pope Gregory the Ninth ordered a purge of black cats, the narrative is largely a myth, not historical fact. While
People's Magazine.
Vox and Rama, yeah, seriously, a papal bull issued in 1233 did mention a cult that worshipped a half-man, half-cat deity and included a black cat in their ritual. It did not condemn cats or order their exterminations. The idea of the church initiating cat massacres is largely based on the 2001 book and magazine, People Magazine, and does not align with historical evidence.
But wait.
Falsehood.
Though I do know, there's an interesting book that I was reading just recently about James the First and his kind of
James Stewart
and all of the things that he kind of was against, especially witchcraft. He was big into like burning the witches, and they had a section in it that talked about why the cat was kind of associated with witches, and it kind of came down to number one. Old spinster women just kind of liked cats. It was kind of it was a friendly companionship, and so they would gather the cats. And during the time of the Black Plague, when the rats and everything were carrying the fleas, cats kind of naturally killed the rats, and cats are less susceptible to flea infestation than some animals because they groom themselves. So during this time of great disease, all of a sudden you have all these old spinster women who probably lived by themselves because they didn't have any family, who weren't getting sick when everybody else was, and it was really easy to kind of point them as an enemy and point their cats as being part of some witchcraft trial.
Now, here's the flip side. Do you want to hear the flip side?
Let's hear the flip side.
Gregory the Ninth, papacy was in the 13th century, so 1227 to 1241. It was not 100 years later that the Black Death started. Why?
Because
of
getting rid of the cats.
The cats were being getting rid of, and the rats were able to flourish. So even though it's a myth by People's Magazine, there is actually some historical thing that people were killing the cats because the population had gotten out of control.
Well, it's probably like anything else today. You have some kind of declaration and people interpret it how they will. And so it's very possible that the Pope said, hey, there's this cult that's going around that's worshiping a half man, half cat. And everybody's like, all cats die.
Satan!
Kill them all.
Satan!
And also,
Whiskers gets theirs.
And this is kind of sad. Cat was also a slang term for the enemy of the Pope. So Jews, other people that disagreed with the Pope were known as cats.
It's interesting.
And so
it's also a play.
It is.
And it was a horrible movie.
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Did Andrew Lloyd Webber write that?
It is Andrew Lloyd Webber. I think it's one of his very first successful ones.
Yep.
I almost just started singing the wrong song.
What were you going to sing?
I was gonna
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
No, I was gonna sing the song
Phantom of the Opera.
from Josh. Stop it! I'm losing my train of thought here. From Les Mis, the girl that sings the song.
Oh yes.
But I was getting confused with the one old cat.
The song that you just sang was not by a girl, but a young lad named Marius.
No. The girl sings that too.
That one?
But that if you listen to that play, that tune is very common throughout a lot of the songs.
Josh. You're gonna get us copyright struck for humming it.
Do you know what I was going to sing? Once in every show. Sorry, okay.
There goes the song.
Let's actually sing the right song from the memory.
See that one, yep.
All alone in the moonlight.
Our mother had the Lloyd Webber
tribute.
Yeah.
Tire tracks and broken hearts.
Yep. We had that. And then you had what's his name? The guy that plays Puss in Boots.
Antonio Banderas.
Antonio Banderas.
The
Who he was playing the
you guys
Phantom.
you couldn't do that without doing the accent, could you?
Antonio
Because if I
Banderas.
do it in my accent, Antonio Banderas. It just doesn't sound right.
But yeah, he plays the Phantom in that one. And that always kind of made me laugh.
Oh. Sorry.
Good heavens, Joshua.
No, do you know what my favorite one in that movie is? Is when the opera guy comes out, the old guy, and he's like,
Oh.
Benedictus.
yes.
Okay.
We don't know these words, Danny. We our sister couldn't sing them correctly, so we couldn't sing them correctly.
No, I'm sorry. My favorite one of all time is P.A.Yesu. The young kid shows up, Sarah, whatever her face is.
Sarah Brighton.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Cats. The play was okay.
Movie, horrible.
Movie freaked me out.
CGI, bad.
I saw
me
better
out.
cat people in Doctor Who than I saw in that, so that tells you something.
Ooh, the nurse.
Yeah.
Yes, what a great one.
See, Julie, you're so proud of me.
But
I'm
Black
bringing
Cats,
Doctor Who into it.
So I follow the doctrine of Greg or Pope Gregory the Ninth. And so when I see black cats on the road, I floor it.
No, he doesn't. Joshua David,
And
don't say these things.
when we get close, if the cat doesn't move, I say a prayer.
You sound like the person that wants to burn the witches.
Golly.
Hey, if they come out of the water with a rock,
Jeez.
they're
Are you
they're
kidding?
a witch.
My wife, so a bird flew into our car.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Like inside your car, or
No,
just
no,
like
no. Flew and hit the car.
yeah?
Died. My wife cried for 3 days. You think I could chase down a cat with a car without my wife like cussing me out?
Yeah.
I was turning onto a highway, and for some weird reason there was a squirrel, and like there was no trees or anything around, so I don't even know what the squirrel was doing. It was Mountain View. I was turning onto there, and the squirrel came out, and I got hit, and I felt so bad because it was just so sad. It was just running, and then just when it was as we were turning left, so it's like I didn't have any opportunity.
I
to
bet his friend was
stop.
like, I dare you could do that.
Probably.
And he,
Alan! No, sorry.
I think that was a gopher. I think
Yeah, sorry, wrong one.
Anywho, how much time we got?
We got a little bit of time.
Let's talk about...
I want to talk about the fingers crossed one.
Ooh.
It's a pretty easy one, but it's one that I didn't realize where it came from until just reading about it. And it's
And-
the idea that you're literally just making the sign of the cross. With your
Oh,
fingers.
I did not even. I mean, you'd have to have some really long, goofy fingers to make it look like.
That doesn't
Cross.
look like a cross to me. Looks like I have to go potty.
See, and this is one too that I'll be with people, and you're just you'll talk something. You're like, oh man, I really hope this happens. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do that all the time.
So, but I'm curious, since because this is the fingers crossed for avoiding bad stuff. What's the fingers crossed mean for when you're telling a lie?
Oh, that's a really good question. Like that's a really good question.
Because like if it means the cross for some people, does that mean something else for others? Or are you hiding the cross so you're not guilty? Ooh.
Or like you're doing advanced penitence.
Yeah, is it still associated with the cross? So it's like, yeah, I'm lying, but Jesus got me.
The gesture likely evolved from the Christian tradition of making the sign of the cross seen as a way to invoke God's presence and seek protection or luck. However, in this context of lying, it is believed to be a way of secretly negating the lie, as if one is not truly committing it.
Interesting.
So you're lying, but because your fingers are crossed. My fingers were crossed.
I am not guilty of my actions at this point.
God says it's fine. Not a problem. Don't tell me what to do.
Well, now I'm going to do it for everything. I'm just gonna keep fingers crossed in my pockets. So, going back to the psychology of this. So we've gone through a few. There's plenty more that we could go over.
Hey, can we go over one more?
Okay, Josh wants to go over one more.
Groundhog's Day.
Groundhog's Day.
Is that in
What is the no? What is the superstition that a groundhog could come out, declare that he sees a shadow, and predict that the winter is coming?
Well, Josh, next February you should make this your history/superstition topic.
No,
Oh, okay.
because I don't like Punxsutawney.
You don't? I think it's a cute little town. Have you been to Punxsutawney?
No, I was talking about the friggin' gopher, beaver.
Oh, you mean Punxsutawney Phil?
yeah.
Did you just call it a beaver?
It is not a beaver. It's literally the name of the day is what kind of animal it is, Josh.
Would you imagine? Can you imagine tracking that? A gopher, beaver. What the heck is that groundhog? Is it a gopher or a beaver?
No, I'm
Seriously.
sorry. All I see in Punxsutawney Phil is when he's driving a red truck off a cliff.
Oh, excellent movie. One of my favorites of all time.
But even
Groundhog's
better, he
Day.
came back and drove a Jeep for a commercial.
That's
So-
true.
That's true.
I
it was
also
an
love it when I don't
Phil?
know.
Phil Collins?
Connor.
Sorry, not Collins. Phil
Ned.
Genesis. We're doing
Ryerson.
so good today.
Needle Nose Ned the Head. Come on. Case Western High.
As you can tell, Danny doesn't watch this
I
at all.
love that show. The Pennsylvania Dutch were immigrants from German-speaking areas of Europe. The Germans had a tradition of making Candleman's February 2nd as Badger's Day, on which if a badger emerged from its den and encountered a sunny day, thereby casting a shadow, it heralded 4 more weeks of winter.
Okay, wait.
So it went
But-
from a badger to a
So,
groundhog?
Germans closely tracked badgers and found that groundhogs were close enough when they came to America.
The Pennsylvanians maintained the same tradition as the Germans on Groundhog Day, except the
Interesting.
winter spell would be prolonged by 6 weeks instead of 4.
That is hilarious.
For
They're
the
like,
Pennsylvania Dutch, the badger became the Dachs, which is Deutsch, referred to as groundhog.
Deutsch.
The standard term for groundhog was Grundachs.
Grundhogs, huh?
It's a Grundachs.
You get mad at me for saying stuff.
Der Sweethunden in Grundstagsdag, wann die Grundstag ihr Schand sind. February 2nd is Groundhog's Day.
That
good.
sounded a lot more
beautiful.
Swiss.
99,
German would have been like-
that's scribbling.
Just kidding. Did you just sing 99 Rebels?
I did.
Nice. Good job.
It's a beautiful one.
99 says Luftballons.
See, there's so much fun with superstitions, and we talk about them all the time. And now you know why? Because we have anxiety. And I was reading, so there was a poll that was run, and a majority of the Americans that were polled kind of said, you know, I'm a little superstitious. So there are the individuals out there that are superstitious. One of the psychologists, Stuart Weiss, kind of said it kind of is linked to the idea of a perceived lack of control.
Oh, yeah.
We just have moments where you don't have as much control as you want, and these provide, you know, that sense of stability or security, maybe, you know. So, and I mean, a lot of people could probably say that of religion, even though I have different beliefs about that myself. But it's one of those that these are kind of what people have.
Sure.
To be able to be like, you know what, I'm anxious about this, but you know, if I cross my fingers.
You know, I was thinking about if there's any modern day, like super modern ones that I could think of, and the one that came to mind is, did you guys ever flick the ceiling when you went through a yellow light of your car?
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, I don't even know what this is.
So if you're going
You
through a
didn't,
yellow light
I
of
didn't
a car,
flick it. I hit the top.
yeah, you would hit you'd hit the roof of your car.
And it's just like as you're speeding through the yellow
Speeding
light.
through
So
the yellow light.
Oh.
It used to be called something. I can't remember what it
Yeah,
was
and
called.
I think that it's kind of a modern day superstition that
But, Danny, do you know what it actually is?
flipping the bird probably.
No.
No, it's not.
It's a stripping game that it's the last person to hit the roof when you drive through a yellow light has to take off an article of clothing.
No, it's not.
It
There
is.
is no way.
Yes, it is.
All right, we got a fact check, Josh.
Do you know how many times socks were taken off in my car?
Ah, I see. So Josh made it a game in his car. Hey guys.
Which is interesting because Josh's first car was not a big car. So
No, it
that
wasn't.
was
It only had 2 doors that weighed about 500 pounds.
Joshua, there is nothing in here that says anything
Then
about
maybe
your,
it was a Utah strip
your
game.
quasi strip game. It was a Josh strip game.
It
Hey guys,
never-
so the last person to hit the roof has to take off an article of clothing. Snicker, snicker.
Yeah, so they took off their shoe. And then it made my car stink.
scandalous.
Oh my gosh, your ankles.
I mean, I've heard that makes good money online if you do it right. So
Well, and there's also it could come from, I guess, and then I've seen people do this. Sometimes people will tap the top of their car, they'll tap their helmet if they're on a motorcycle, if there's a cop nearby.
That's true. Or flashing
yeah,
lights.
well, that's the
That's a pretty common
the
thing.
sign for that way they can help people identify where a cop is.
Okay,
So-
here's another one. I don't know how much time we have. Holding your breath through a tunnel.
Oh,
Have
yeah,
you guys done
yeah.
that one?
I have.
I
held my
still
breath.
do that
Man,
one.
I'm feeling like I didn't know anything.
Or holding your hands up while going over a railroad track. Maybe that was just for me. But
I say I did that more for fun than anything
yeah,
else.
me too. No hands.
I mean, I also did that in a golf cart going down the hill. So,
That's true.
but I got that from our uncle who tended to enjoy this. And
I was going to
things
say
like
he did it to piss off our grandpa. It
Yes,
was
he did.
Most of the time.
that. Is our grandpa
Who was
yelling,
sitting right next to him.
cockeyed twit and all the things. Oh,
The best experience was a day after it rained, huge hill on Bear Lake. Our uncle driving down, takes a hard left, grass is still wet,
skids.
spins out, 360. Now it's on 2 wheels, and he yells, "Grandpa, lead!"
Okay, so here's one that I didn't even think about as a superstition: blowing out birthday candles.
Oh, I didn't even think.
Why do we do that?
to see,
Well,
to
I
make
guess,
sure
I
we
guess
still have breath.
making a wish for some. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, kissing on New Year's,
We're still in
Is
love.
that considered a superstition?
that is considered a superstition.
Interesting.
Does that mean kissing under the mistletoe is the same thing?
Covering your mouth when you yawn. Why do you cover your mouth when you yawn? If
I
you
don't-
cough and you
I don't want to
sneeze.
see people look inside
No.
my mouth.
because people stick their fingers in people's mouths.
Okay, here's one that we all have.
You.
We are literally right now in the middle of a superstition.
Podcasts.
Oh, our wedding rings.
The wedding ring is considered a superstition. Why do you have a wedding ring specifically on your left ring finger?
It is the only artery or vein that goes directly to the
That
heart.
is that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yep.
See, and here it is. It's just simple, and this is where everyone puts it so they know I'm married. Because I was gonna get flirted with all the time without it
You
for
were.
sure. I would never. I mean, like even though I never had that ever, it was eventually gonna happen.
Jake, I had to hold girls back. I said, "You can't have my brother."
I'm
so sorry.
Sure, you did.
I'm so sorry that I did that.
Definitely didn't happen to find a girl and happened to be the first girl I dated and married. So I'm kind of gonna be stuck with me forever.
So I mean, there is superstitions that we all have that we don't even know they're superstitions that we kind of
You turn
Propagate.
into almost just cultural.
it's like a cultural.
Things.
It's so ingrained in your culture.
And that's why, I mean, that's kind of what it comes down to. Is there's just a lot that I think we just do it just because culturally you learn. I mean, bless you. We're not actually thinking that we're going to be blessing
Bless
the evil spirit
I
out of
still
you.
cross people.
Do you? That's a sign language thing.
Yep, that's how I learned.
Yeah, you're right, but you don't. I have never once thought to myself, I am giving this person
A blessing.
the edification.
I am
and blessing.
literally becoming an exorcist.
Seriously.
But I mean, it's just one of those things that we learn, and it now it's just kind of it's a what is it? It's just a respectful thing to do
Yeah,
when someone
yeah.
does that. Just like excuse me, things like that.
Pardon
So
me, yeah. Well, let's do some final words because I think we're at that time. Josh, we're going to start with you. Final words.
Final words. I'm still superstitious.
What is your number one superstition that you do that you
Number one superstition. I don't know. I just said I was superstitious because that's what I always do at the end of everything. Is I say I do what we've been talking
You
about.
have everything.
You have everything.
But to be honest, I don't really have like superstition. I've met people who are very
Super
superstitious and like have to do things. And I'm not that way. Like my wife, she has to close the bathroom door. Now that may just be a fear, but I think it's a superstition of sorts of if it's open, she can't sleep.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I didn't know where you were going with that, but I see. Like even when you're trying to go to sleep, you're leaving a door open.
Yeah.
She has to know that Josh
It's
is
like-
okay while he's on the
She
toilet.
has to close the bathroom door. Josh, that's called privacy, and maybe we need to learn a little bit about it sometime.
It's
personal
I think it's more
boundaries.
so when she's in the bed and Josh doesn't close the door and he's
And she's like, "Oh, for heck's sake!"
she's gagging at Josh's noises and smells.
Yeah, I'm not really that superstitious. I got Jesus.
Yeah, I don't think I have things that I do automatically just because I've always done them, like the knocking on the woods, the crossing of fingers, and everything. But I don't think that they hold any significance in the outcome that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like wishing someone to break a leg, or it's not anything more than just culturally part of myself.
That's one we didn't talk about. Saying Macbeth backstage.
You say the Scottish play.
I mean, this is. I would.
You could go
I would
here,
love to go over the funny ones that people do in sports and other things because there's a lot of
We'll
them.
have to do that sometime. The funny superstitions. Final word, Jake. It's on you.
It's on me.
It's on you.
Oh
Jacob.
dear.
Now remember, we have this week's podcast, and then we're a week off. So
We
Jake,
are
you
a
have
week
to
off.
leave him with something juicy.
This is super. This is so important, Jake.
Do it. Okay. I lived in a country that was very superstitious about a lot of different things, and it always was very fascinating to me. Just seeing it, like they would cover their TVs during lightning storms because they believed that lightning would jump out of the TV at them.
Interesting.
Which, I mean, there was probably some idea about why that happened, and such as electricity happening, or you can't smell the rain. Like if the rain has that smell, like here it's like, that's
it's
a
the best
lovely
thing in the
smell.
entire
Yeah.
world.
But over
yeah.
there, it's like, don't smell that, you're gonna get sick. Because
Really?
for some
It's
reason
probably
they
because
correlate
of
that.
the pollution or something.
Well, that's what they believe, or it could just be because it brings the temperature down, and they actually just get
they get
sick
because
from
of
just
temperatures.
temperature
That's
changes.
true.
Interesting.
So, and there was just I saw a lot of that, and it just really fascinated me that it's like things that you would not even think about here are like other cultures and countries. It's like that's very much, and it's not just like one or two families. It's like it's the whole community.
Yeah, we didn't really
So-
go outside of like the European centric thing, except for that one Japanese one. But I mean, there are
There's a lot.
superstitions across the world, from like itchy palms in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
The sweeping of the feet. I mean, there's a ton of stuff. It would be fun to go continent by continent.
Just
and
kind of look
do-
at them.
and do one.
Antarctica.
We'll have to look at it. It's just interesting that, because we're America's, like, just where a lot of people come together, that you can get all these little mixes and matches. I mean, we do get a lot of the European, but you get others as
Yeah,
well.
they're definitely kind of another.
So it's just kind of cool. It's cool to see, and it's interesting that it's just kind of in our culture. Not so much the belief now is just the phrase and kind of somewhat of the meaning of it, but I mean, a lot of these, I didn't even know the history of them.
Yeah,
it was
that's
just kind of,
Cultural artifact, right?
yeah.
Well, with that, we are ending this week's podcast. Thank you so much for listening. As always, remember to follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Make sure that you are rating and commenting. That does help us out. We will see you in 2 weeks with history. And I believe it is
Jake.
Yeah, that's right. Jake does history.
crap.
2 weeks. He ruined it. He thought he could get away with doing a 3-for-1.
I was trying to do it all together, so I
but
didn't have to do it anymore.
No. We will come back right after the Easter break with something fun and exciting for history.
Yep. So remember, everyone, if you want. Oh, sorry. I just ruined the whole moment.
Thanks for ruining everything, John.
Nope. If you knock on glass to save your